Good evening. Welcome to the Diablo 3 podcast. I'm your host, Flux, and we are online at diabloii.net. I am joined on the show tonight by Osmodius.
Good evening.
Also known as Aahz.
Sounds good.
And he's got a cool, like a Mario quality. What do they call those things? 8-bit, 64-bit, 4-bit?
8-bit.
Cool little 8-bit avatar of like an artichoke or an aardvark or something like that.
It's a porcupine.
And we're also joined by, shut up, dude, I don't care. We're also joined by Wolfpaq.
Yo.
Who's got an avatar of a mugshot of him when he went to Czechoslovakia one time with his soccer team when he was 14.
Dude, just because I have a haircut doesn't mean I'm Czechoslovakian.
Are you saying Czechoslovakians do or do not have haircuts?
I don't know.
Is there even Czechoslovakia anymore? Didn't they split up into like Serbia and Croatia or something?
Yeah, it's been gone for a few decades now.
Yeah, I'm not real up on current European political developments, I have to admit. I'm just waiting for President Trump to fix all those problems. Okay, probably not. Okay, so it is the weekend of Season 5. It's a Sunday night, and it's been about 48 hours, or 50 hours since the season went up. Have either of you guys hit P500 yet?
No. I'm about
P400?
About 40.
P40. Okay, that's not going to do. How far have you gotten so far, Wolfpaq?
381.
Oh, there you go, almost 500. Obviously, Aahz, you'll be sitting at the little man's table
That's
tonight.
Right. He's a pro.
So let us bask in your genius, Wolfpaq. How have you achieved Paragon 700 already? And do you have a new bot this time, or are you mostly playing yourself so far?
So far, I've never botted. I have always played myself, and I'm playing a demon hunter. Yeah. Did
you have a strategy? Did you start at like 5:01 p.m. and avoid the character creation bottlenecks and stuff?
No, I was definitely having issues with the character creation bottleneck. It took me like 5 minutes to create my character.
5 minutes, man.
It was ridiculous, dude. First of all,
you'd be like P430 by now, otherwise, right?
I tried to rebirth, and it didn't work, and the error code was indecipherable, and only later, like halfway through the creation of my new character, did I get the message that I had messages waiting. So I guess you can't rebirth a character that has messages waiting. I guess they don't want you to have all this loot in the mail. So I've created my new character, Rebirth's Blows, and she is level Paragon 381 right now.
So did you have a party? Did you just pick up with random people and go 4 players, or what?
I wanted to try soloing, just to see how that would go, because I heard good things about the whole massacre bonus and whatnot, which you can't get in rifts, and apparently it's difficult to do in parties. So I played solo until around the mid-40s when someone in the random clan I joined was whining about missing a player, and since they had been 4-manning it the whole time, and I guess one of their dudes just took off, I joined them. I was behind them by about 7 levels. But,
and you caught up in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I caught up by the time the game was over. Or by the time they hit level 70, I was like 2 bars from 70. The thing that was really bothering me was I did like 5 bounties and I never got Kane's set. So I had to deal without that 50% XP boost, which was a little bit annoying.
So had they started right at 5 o'clock also in a 4-player group?
They did, and I was 7 levels.
And after an hour, you were only like 7 levels behind?
Yeah.
So obviously solo has been, last season that was one of the big complaints. Of course, that was mostly in greater rifts once you had like all the plus EXP gear and stuff. But
yeah,
usually it was 5, 6, 10 times faster to level in a party than solo.
It's crazy, dude. I managed to get the 500 kill streak bonus, and I went from level 45 to level 46, entire level, like 10 bars, just from the.
Click.
Just from that, yeah, just from the bonus, the diabolical massacre or whatever it's called.
I was wondering how I played a little bit on Thursday night, before the season started. I hadn't played in forever, and just getting on there and trying the new patch stuff and playing solo, and I was getting constant with those big EXP bonuses. You're getting like 2.5 and 3 times experience bonuses all the time for your kill streaks.
Yeah.
But I was like, Paragon 700, so I couldn't really tell if it was making a difference or not. I mean, I leveled up a couple of times and playing, but it's like, who can tell, right?
Yeah.
But we were all wondering, we were discussing it in the clan, like, is this going to make a huge difference when people are leveling up next, with a level 40 character? And you would say yes.
Oh, absolutely. If you can consistently get those kill streaks. I had a little bit of trouble getting, because this is my first time, I didn't play on the PTR at all, so this is my first time really getting the hang of it. So I only got the coveted 500 once, but I was reaching the 100 and 200s pretty consistently in the Fields of Misery and the Halls of Agony. So it was a lot of fun, actually. It was a huge rush, actually, going like with that little timer counting down and like, oh, I gotta find that next group, gotta hurry up, find that next group. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's fun. You just get all these random destruction bonuses and all this other crap just sort of tacks on all the time, and you just pop up, pop up, pop up.
Yeah, move speed. I love that.
So, Aahz, how did your rush go? Did you go 4 players, and do you wish you'd gone solo after hearing that story?
No, at Season 5, I wasn't too concerned about rushing the first night. I hopped on maybe about quarter after 5 Pacific, and didn't have any problems with the rebirth feature. That was really nice. And then I was by myself at the time, so I just went to Leoric's waypoint in campaign mode, and then I came back an hour later and I saw some people were playing and jumped into their game. So we'd finish up the bounties and then went back to get Leoric's crown. But we didn't turn in the bounties, to try to get Kane set, and that had 2 problems. We missed Act 4 because we were already level 27, and then of course, Act 4 was the bonus act, so we only got, the minimum amount of mats, except for the first act we did. And then my Leoric's crown rolled intelligence instead of dexterity. So I had that thing on, all the way to level 70, like double gimped. Low-level item plus not my main stat. That was really
given
annoying.
those low-level item, what was it, like plus 27 intelligence or something?
I can't remember.
It wasn't like you were losing out on 500 dexterity or something, though. It wasn't exactly ancient level 70, right? So
it's the principle.
Speaking of that, I spent the better part of this afternoon trying everything I could to get my hands on a focus, and for my Demon Hunter, because I found a restraint pretty early, but I never could get a focus. And after like the 15th ring I upgraded, I finally got my focus, and it rolled int.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you can try that one with Aahz.
Yeah.
He's got the full intelligence set going, so.
Yeah. That was very frustrating.
Are you playing a monk or a demon hunter, Aahz?
Demon Hunter.
So why is it like all demon hunters on the podcast again? How did this happen?
It was just, I hadn't played Demon Hunter or Barbarian yet in my seasons, and I just decided Demon Hunter.
Of course, last season was all about the monks and barbarians to a lesser extent, and this time there's buffs to every class. So I'm not sure what we're going to see the most of people are playing. Did you guys choose demon hunters because based on the patch changes or something, or are you just like hardcore emo? Or did you watch the new Star Wars like one time too maybe?
No, Demon Hunter's always been my favorite class. It's just they were so awful for the past at least 2 seasons that it didn't really make much sense to be playing one. But now in this patch, it sounded. I was really excited to try the melee Demon Hunter set, which you're getting for free, and so that was why I chose Demon Hunter.
So did you get it for free? You did the seasonal journey to that extent?
Yeah. I had it Friday night, about like half an hour after we hit 70. Of course, you had to split off and do your stuff solo. So, but we did the first couple parts as a group after leveling up. I mean, obviously the first part's hitting level 70, so did that, and then we went and killed what's his name on Tichu.
You're probably getting tired of carrying those deadbeats anyway, right?
No.
After you dragged them all the way to 70, you're like, okay, guys, get off my back. I got to start playing solo.
They carried me, dude. They were all in their mid-50s. I was like 49 or something.
Yeah, but you had a demon hunter, so you had that's like 10 levels above your class, though, because they're hella hardcore. Were you hardcore, by the way?
No, ever since I had a son, hardcore is not an option.
I'm sure there's a really good metaphor there somewhere, but I'm not capable of finding it right now. Are you going hardcore or softcore, Aahz?
Hardcore. And I have.
Well, see, that otherwise you'd be like
well,
P500,
just
right?
for the record.
You have an offspring as well.
Yes, a couple of them, but I'm still playing hardcore.
Are they older than? Are they above like 6 months in age?
They are.
Well, see, that's I think that's the Wolfpaq's excuse, right?
Yeah.
Your little wolf cub is like still young enough to like kick over power cords and stuff.
Yeah, he's extremely young.
No, I've got the issue where my son's asking me if he could, make a seasonal character as well, and I'm telling him, yes, but you're not allowed to make hardcore. You got to prove that you can, actually survive long enough. I'll have a broken PC.
You trained him well. Your little Padawan is charging up next to you, right? So, any other new patch 2.4 stuff? Did you guys try leveling in different areas? Or I've heard people were saying that it was actually really good to do the Grey Hollow Island because it's really good. It's pretty good density. There's good monsters for EXP, and there's almost always a 100 kill in this timer amount, cursed chest in that area.
Huh.
So some guys were like, you should try the new area. It's awesome. I don't know if anybody actually did that or not.
No, I didn't really plan it out. I just did bounties that one time.
And that's why you're P32.
That's right.
Now.
And then basically riffs from there. But the really nice thing about the DH set that you get from Hadrian's Gift is that 2-piece bonus is a really big buff in damage, as opposed to like the Firebirds is another cheat death passive. Woohoo! So I think that's a definite advantage for Demon Hunters when you hit 70.
So I haven't done Seasonal Journey yet. So we were debating this on a previous podcast. It says like, do you get all 6 pieces right when you get at a certain point, or do you get a couple of them for each page or something?
It's three things you got to do. First, you got to hit 70 for the first chew. Then you need to kill Cool on T2. That's the second chew. Then you have to solo Grift 20, and that's the 6 piece.
So that's all like on page 4 or page 5 of Seasonal Journey or something?
Page 4. Basically,
page 4.
You almost get. You don't have to, but you almost have 3. I almost had 3 done, but it doesn't really link into your Season Journey specifically.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at Season Journey at all.
Right.
I had read that those are the 3 things you got to do, so I just did those, and I got it in the mail. Messages pending, whatever.
And then it's like cha-ching items, and they appear in your inventory, and you're like happy then?
Well, it's a bag. You right-click the bag, and then they drop on the ground. Yeah. You got to pick them up and then identify them. But sort of, yeah.
But of course, you know what they are already. You just don't know which pieces you're going to get first.
Yeah, and if they're going to roll well or not.
Well, I'm sure you got intelligence on both of them, right?
No, that they did. Smart Loot came through for me.
Well, there you go. So, any new stuff? I mean, other new patch features you noticed? I mean, everyone loves the teal color Death Breaths, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like finally they're actually visible.
It's heaven.
Yeah,
Have you found any Death Breaths yet, Aahz? You're pretty low level still. You might not have seen any yet.
I have. That's good. That's another way that RNG screwed me is I got enough Death Breaths to roll a melee weapon because the new Demon Hunter set needs a melee weapon, so I just put a spear in, and it rolled the 300 spear for the Barbarian. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And I haven't gotten back to 25 Death Thresh yet.
And you're all like, this is Sparta.
So I'm still using a yellow item now. Or yellow weapon.
Yeah, Wolfpaq's just like laughing at you. He's like, haha.
Well, no, I got really, really lucky and had an ancient dagger of Fan of Knives drop for me.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. So I'm not using it anymore. I've switched to multi-shot, but it was awesome for the first 100 or 150 Paragon levels.
So how did that was always the race before when you get to over level 70, trying to get any one of the 6-piece sets. Because as soon as you get on any one of those, you vastly increase your total power just immediately.
Yeah.
But now, of course, you get all 6 pieces from just doing this one little thing. So you got that probably much before any of the other you actually found pieces.
I didn't notice that it was all that faster to 70. Of course, that may be because I have people like Leviathan and 9-Ball on my friends list, and they're 70, quarter after 5 p.m. or whatever. But when you get 70, it's a lot quicker. I've already got my 6-piece bonus, first weekend, and it usually takes over a week, maybe 2 weeks in the previous seasons. So that's a really nice boost. Once you hit 70, it's a lot faster to the in-game play.
I mean, the last couple of seasons, and doing it on the PTR also, so I had more chances. I was usually like P150 to 200 before I finally got a good 6-piece bonus going. And now, if you think you're getting you're like P2, you're like P20, and you had a 6-piece bonus going. So
yeah, you can get it really quickly.
Well, there you go, power creep. So that was another question I had. Do you think it's going to be much more power creep in this season? I mean, obviously we had a lot of that last season with the cube and everything.
Oh, 100% for sure. Power creep is insane. I mean, just looking at the Unhallowed Essence set itself. So there's, I guess, from what I've experienced with the Demon Hunter so far, I like multi-shot. I really like the skill, so I'm going for the Unhallowed build, and so every single piece, the 2-piece, the 4-piece, and the 6-piece got majorly buffed. The 2-piece used to give you 1 discipline from your generators. Now it gives you 2 hatred and 1 discipline. The 4-piece used to give you 20% damage reduction and 20% increased damage for 8 seconds if no enemies within 8 yards, but now it's 60-60. And then the final boost used to be your generators and multi-shot deal 15% each increased damage for each point. That's been boosted to 20%, and they added in Vengeance, which is the Demon Hunter, steroids, guns, and rockets going like crazy. So that also has been increased in damage. And then furthermore, they buffed Vengeance to last 5 seconds longer and increased your damage by 40%. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely a significant amount of power creep. Like I was easily able to solo Grift 50, level 50, with less than 2 days of farming. And
wow.
yeah, and that was the other thing. There's a new ring that reduces your damage by 60% for 8 seconds after you vault or something. And and then there's a new helm that when you cast Vengeance, you also have your damage reduced by half. Like it's the rune that reduces your damage by half for the duration. And with 37% cooldown reduction, you can have permanent Vengeance. So
That's not a lot of reduction, really. That's good.
Yeah, it's insane. So I mean, I was looking at my just damage and toughness stats with 2 days of farming. My toughness was over 200 million, and I could keep it there consistently. And my damage was over 2 million, and I could keep it there consistently just because I finally got focus and restraint. And
previously, high toughness for different was like 8 million.
Yeah. So
right.
If I vault, hit something with my generator, and cast Vengeance, which I have permanent Vengeance, I have 210 million toughness. And that's indefinite.
I don't think any Demon Hunter with Vault has ever gone 8 seconds without vaulting. So
right.
It's like you can't. It would be a better bonus if you could go 8 seconds without vaulting. It would be like, oh my god, I can't do this. Like your hands would be shaking and stuff.
Yeah. It's the spam. It's your safety net. So, and it's not just Vault. Vault is the one I use, but you can also do Smokescreen or Shadow Power if for some reason you didn't want Vault on your bar.
Well, other than that, though, it's a pretty balanced set and not really much better than what you have in the game right now.
Well, I mean,
except for having 50 times more toughness at all times and twice the damage.
The Shadow Power set or Shadow's Mantle was a ton of fun to start out with. It's a totally unique playstyle because it puts a huge damage load on Impale and only on the first enemy that Impale hits, and it's absurd. But then you'd have like no AoE. Like I said, I got lucky and I got the Fan of Knives dagger, but it takes 30 seconds for that Fan of Knives dagger to stack up, and obviously it's Diablo 3. We're seeing large amounts of monsters far more frequently than 30 seconds, so. AoE was pretty bad, so what I just ended up doing is I vaulted around and waited until I saw an elite, and then Fan of Knives, one Impale, and they were dead. And this was on T6, like opening night. And then I would just go hunting again for the next elite, or like big, like a Golgor or whatever, like something with a lot of health, because like throwing your knife and doing like 3 billion damage to a little skeleton is so like underwhelming. So.
It's a little pointless.
Yeah, but it was a ton of fun. Like that set it's a totally different playstyle. I've never played a character that actively hated big mobs and then loved like single targets. But that's how that class played, or that set played to me, and that was a lot of fun.
It reminds me of the Shield Bash Crusader, the physical build. You couldn't play it solo because you could never kill any groups, but if you were in a group, you were like the guardian killer for the group. So sounds like that might be the same with the DH set. It's plus 40,000% damage on the first enemy that Impale hits.
Yep.
Which I think is a little over double. I'm not very good at math.
You're an accountant, but you better be good at math.
Tenki does math, I don't.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the 3 billion damage. So do you guys like the new damage display where you don't see every single number now?
Love it.
You just see like 3.2B or something?
Yeah, I didn't play PTR at all, so all these nice way of life improvements I'm really enjoying them. The buff bar, being able to actually see my buffs that I care about all the time, that's really good. We talked about Death's Breaths, seeing the rank of the legendary gem, just in the inventory and stuff. That's all really good changes. Kudos to Blizzard on that.
I like the empowered rift too.
Yes.
Just want to spend extra gold to do the same thing?
Yeah, so I don't have like millions of gold that I can't do anything with. Now I can, and I appreciate that.
And it makes seeing a Gilded Baron, especially early, great. Like, I'm really excited about seeing one of those because then I'm like, okay, great. Now my next 5 rifts can be empowered rifts.
Yep.
Get one extra legendary gem every time, or legendary gem.
Upgrade.
Yeah, and I got Bane of the Powerful, Esoteric Alteration, and Aahz as 3 of my first 4, so I really lucked out there.
I also
That's too bad.
I finally got a couple ancient items, and so I'm looking forward to augmenting them, but I don't have enough gems yet to do it.
Are you using the Legacy of Nightmares, or have you used a build with that yet?
No, because I'd have to get rid of my multi-shot set. And
Understood.
I like that. Like, is that the Wailing Host?
Wailing Host, yeah, and Litany of the Undaunted. And by the way, somebody in our clan went to Gadala and got an ancient one of those each. They popped up right after one another.
Oh, wow.
Man. So we got the whole, both pieces of the Legacy of Nightmares set, and they're both ancient. Unreal.
Wow.
But they had to take off their 6-piece, though, so...
Well, sure, but...
At least to make it work, but yeah.
You get another Season Journey accomplishment.
Cha-ching. So speaking of Season Journey accomplishment, that's one of the big complaints, the whole stash base thing. So you obviously, everybody got another stash tab just for going to the new patch, and 500k gold, cha-ching.
Yeah.
But then you get another stash tab if you finish, Conqueror, which is, I think, page 8 of the Seasonal Journey. And people were all complaining about, like, once they saw that was the requirement, it's like people who don't play Seasons are like, that's like weeks of play. I'm not sure I need to go check what the actual requirements are for that this season. It changed a lot from last season.
Yeah, but maybe 2 weeks with the power creep. I mean, a lot of that stuff is going to be so easy.
If you don't play Seasonal at all, you're like, I'll play for an hour to get, like, level 70 just to get an achievement or something, but have you guys, I assume you've already gotten that page up there, Wolfpaq?
Let's see, I finished chapters...
Not that you need it already.
I finished chapters 1 through 4. And
you're like 7 pages away, dude.
And
come back next week.
I'm on Slayer, which I guess is the first thing after chapter 4. I don't know what the rest of the pages are.
Yeah, you got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But of course you don't need it yet. I mean, you probably got, nowhere near your full stash. You're only playing one class so far, for God's sake.
Yeah, the stash base I've never had a complaint about. I've always been a light packer in Diablo, anyway.
You're like the one person on Earth.
Yeah.
It was funny because they added this new stash tab, and before the season started, there was all this bitching about how it's too hard to get and why we have to wait that long. And, like, everyone got another stash tab, and it just made them, like, angrier they didn't have 1,000 more stash tabs. And I actually went back and looked, and I remember one of the Blizzard guys saying, like, if we give you more stash space, you'll just want more stash space. And that was like a rhetorical response.
Yeah.
And that was actually what Josh Mosquera said at BlizzCon 2014. I'll actually quote this. Will we have a store to sell more stash space? Everyone wants that. Not specifically the store aspect, but we're always discussing the issue of more space. And if we give you more, you want more, and eventually all the internet is your items. We all thought that was like bullshit. How can he say that? Actually, yeah, that's exactly true.
It turns out he's right.
Because they finally gave us one more stash tab, and everyone always just said, that's not enough for anything, you just made me angry.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't take your girlfriend out to dinner for like 6 months, and when you finally take her out to dinner, it's like McDonald's. It just gets worse. Like, you'd have better off not taking her out to dinner anywhere than taking her out somewhere crappy. Because now she's like got a taste for it, and she wants to go out and eat again and again and again, and that's better and better. You guys are married, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
No?
I've already got all the stash tabs at Paragon 40 because I can't wait for very long for that. But I don't really see anything wrong with how they added it. I mean, yeah, you'll have to do a little bit of grinding, but I got to that part, of the season journey last season, and now it's going to be
in like 2 months.
Well, I don't know how long it was, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, you got to get 3 gems up to level 50. But with the power creep, that it shouldn't take that long this season.
Are there any, like, the ones that put me off from last season, which was around the time I quit playing, was I got to the point where I needed to do conquests.
Yeah.
And the conquest just seemed annoying, so I was pretty much over the season anyway by that point. But
well, Conqueror last season, one of the requirements was 75 powers from Kanai's Cube. And that's like a lot, because not that many. Obviously, it's a lot of legendary items to find, but you had to get all those goddamn materials. You know, you had to do all those bounties.
I'm really hoping they do another double bounty mat weekend. That was great. So,
just cash in all those stupid bounties.
Oh,
yeah.
I will say that bounties are way easier to do now, and I really appreciate that. Like bounties that used to be hard and take long are they still take a while, but you have the little pointer on your minimap the entire time instead of...
Yeah, like the second you start them now, they give you a pointer.
Yeah, for the tough ones, yeah.
Remember it was like 5 minutes, and then it was 1 minute, now it's like instantly. It's like, I don't like waiting.
That's a good point.
It's not all of them. It's just the ones where, like, find a dungeon, then find level 2 of the dungeon, then kill everything in that. Like, that just takes so long. So they said, all right, we'll start pointing right away for you. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, my favorite arrow was, like, the kill area quest, because you could be halfway across the map before that pointer came up, and like, oh, there's another 5 minutes just getting back.
Yeah, it's like 10 screens away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, if you have one place you could have made a left or a right, and you know, whichever way you went, it was always the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you would keep going and hurrying and rushing and realizing you're just getting further and further away from where you wanted to be.
Oh, and that stupid spider cavern starts pointing right away for you now, too.
Well, we used to joke about that months ago on the podcast. Like, it was, when they first changed it down to 1 minute, it was better just to, like, go to the waypoint and then just go AFK for, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And come back, because, like, you could go further in the wrong direction than it would take you to get back in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just go to the waypoint and just go get a drink of water and come back. Hey, there's the pointer, you know? Cha-ching.
Yeah. No need.
Especially if you're on, like, the Blood Marsh or one of those, like, giant Act 5 areas. It just goes on forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy good time saver and benefit.
So, what do you guys think about the stash tab on the whole, though? I mean, you're happy to get another tab, and, you know, we can get one more each season forever. You said you never had an issue with those Wolfpaqs, so, like, people are, like, throwing things at their computer when they hear you talk right now.
Yeah, I mean, usually, if I have a character that wants to wear gear, he's got it equipped. But although now that there's set dungeons, there's more incentive to hold on to things. So, people may have a point.
If you love something, set it free.
No, that doesn't work with chinchillas.
Or small children.
Or small children, right.
So Aahz, what do you think about the inventory issue long term? Has stash space been like your biggest complaint for the last 2 years?
Probably. It probably has. Yeah, and
is it still your biggest complaint?
Not at the moment, but, you know, the season just started. But yeah, even just playing one class, you know, in hardcore, you got to keep backups. And so for my main set, I always had backups, and then I'd maybe pick a couple. You might have 2 copies of something if it had the right elemental damage boost, and, you know, maybe I want to try that build. And then I might find set pieces for other classes that I wanted to save for after the season. It was hard to fit it all in, especially at the end of the season. I was salvaging stuff I really would prefer to keep. So getting basically 2 extra tabs this season I'm really going to enjoy, and especially since I may, you know, try to do another, like do the 4 sets of my main DH, and then maybe pick, I don't know, Monk or something and do the 4 set dungeons of it too to get that accomplished. So yeah, it's a big boon. A big boon for us hoarders.
Shouldn't you be doing a wizard or a witch doctor since you've already got like a full set of intelligence gear?
that
may you're like halfway there already.
That may be the way the season goes. We'll have to see.
So, neither of you guys are huge issues with the stash space, but I mean, people have been talking about they wish they had the the Chinese version of the game where you could just buy extra stash tabs. And obviously Wolfpaq would not be going for that. You sound like you would maybe be willing to sell some stash tabs, though, if need be.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this tabs on the right, now I have tabs on top, too. I could sell that right tab on top.
That'd be funny if you could actually sell your tabs. I mean, like if you're joining a new clan, like you to give up one of your stash tabs is a hazing ritual. Yeah, I have lots then. I have all the tabs.
They would have already gotten more money for me if they'd have done that. I don't even know how much I would have paid, but it would have been a significant amount just for the annoyance factor. So but I could see why they didn't. I mean, they obviously had some performance issues last season.
Yeah, so did I. Wait, what?
So hopefully so far anyway, I haven't noticed any of those kinds of lags. Hopefully that got cleaned up. But that's really scary in hardcore. You know, you're a monk in the middle of stuff, and then all of a sudden the screen just stops, and you know it's going to catch up in the next 2 seconds. So.
Yeah, that was the big complaint last season. There was all those random, suddenly there's massive lag, and for a while it was like witch doctors. You couldn't play with a witch doctor because it would just get massive lag and completely just kill your computer. And then it was everyone all the time, anywhere randomly, and like people were trying to figure out which legendary gem was causing it and all this kind of stuff.
Well, I think this season it's Barbs and their Leapquake.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't really looked into the forum threads that much this season. If that stuff's popping up with new stuff, but you're seeing that already with Barbs.
Yeah, I was partied with one a couple hours ago, and I don't know if the server itself was hiccuping or what, but every time he jumped around and made like 3 earthquakes, and then jumped around again and made 3 more. I don't know what the cooldown is on Leap, but I couldn't do anything. I got disconnected from network and kicked out of the game twice, and then like 3 or 4 other times the screen just froze. So I'd be very careful, you hardcore guys, about partying with Barbs.
It's a good tip.
Playing a Barb.
That's their season set too, so probably mostly people are going to be running that, especially early.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. That was the only time I had an issue, and I've been doing a lot of public games and 4-player nonsense. But this is my first time partying with a Leapquake Barb, and it was terrible. But
and also your last time.
Yeah, my life exactly.
Vote kick.
Grand opening, grand closing. So any interesting party stuff? Any tactics? You guys didn't feel like you really planned stuff out that much. Like you just I want to play Demon Hunter and do cool things. You weren't like all planning out, obviously, other than avoiding Leapquake Barbs.
Well, I saw a forum post talking about how cold multi-shot is viable now, or at least could be, as opposed to Arsenal, which has been pretty much the only multi-shot build anyone's run since Unhallowed Essence made it into the game. And so I'm going the cold route, and it's pretty cool. Everything that I hit, there's a 25% increased chance for others to crit it, 15% from the wind chill itself, which I think got buffed, and 10% because I'm running Ice Blink.
Ice Blink.
And also, everything moves really slow. Like, goblins go nowhere when I hit them with my multi-shot, which always hits them, so that part seems pretty good. And plus, I have Bane of the Trapped, which, like, Demon Hunters also have the 20% damage boost from Cull the Weak, the passive, so it's really good to have things slowed down, but there's never been a great way for people with multi-shot Arsenal to slow everything down, but now I don't have to worry about it because everything's slowed down anyway, so I've got 27, like just from my multi-shot, everything's slowed down, so I've got 27% from my level 40 Bane of the Trapped and 20% from my Cull the Weak that is just permanently on. The one thing that I've seen some Demon Hunters still doing is running a Cinder Coat in their cube, and you can't do that obviously with multi-shot as Wind Chill. But personally, I like the extra damage reduction from Vengeance, anyways. So yeah.
Have you attacked Ice Blink on with that as well?
Yeah. I'm running Ice Blink, Zeiss, and Bane of the Trapped. Another minor thing, it's not amazing, but it's pretty interesting. The best amulet I happen to have found so far is the Haunt of Vaxo, which is the one that summons shadow clones when you stun an enemy. And thanks to Zai's Stone of Vengeance, I have a 20% chance to stun enemies. So basically, I'm always summoning shadow clones. And I don't know if this is new or if this has always been the case, but the shadow clones cast the Demon Hunter skill Marked for Death, Valley of Death rune, which is just a 15-yard AoE, damage increase. And so it's pretty irrelevant when I'm just farming regularly, but on bosses, it's pretty regular, because, bosses aren't usually super mobile, like Rift bosses, and so it's pretty regular for me to have, because I tossed out, what's it called? Calamity, right? Calamity was the one that all Demon Hunters went for in the cube. But now everyone wants Dawn, so they can have... Dawn has the new legendary effect, reduces the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%, which is what lets you have permanent Vengeance, so everyone wants Vengeance. And so Dawn replaced Calamity. But now I don't know how long I'm going to have this Haunt of Vaxo, but while I do, I have a sometimes works Calamity effect, so that part's kind of cool. Although not consistent, or so I wouldn't recommend got to get a Haunt of Vaxo. But if you have it, it's pretty neat.
It's hard to get a good amulet, so early on, a lot of times I'm using something that may not be optimal.
Yeah.
So you can start farming Hellfire amulets.
Right. Did you know, Flux? Did you know that? Did you know that the Shadow Clones cast the Marked for Death, Valley of Death?
I've had some of those on skills in the past that would just pop up all the time, and they'd cast all kinds of crap. I don't think I ever saw them cast Mark for Death.
Yeah.
But all last season, I always had Calamity in my cube anyway. You know,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's true.
it's like I wouldn't even have known that it was happening. So
Yeah.
got this anyway. Cha-ching. Yeah, I pretty much did Natalia's all last couple of seasons when I've ever played Demon Hunter. So I would always have, Nat's crossbow, and then you've either got Calamity in your offhand or else it's on your cube, depending on what other gear you're doing.
Oh, right.
Or else you would use the you'd vary stuff up. You'd also use the crossbow that gives you the full speed movement all the time when you're doing strafe. So.
Oh, the 10 clip.
Yeah, obviously that was what you'd use depending on which. If you're doing physical, you'd use that one because then otherwise, because the physical rune effect was something different. But I forget. It's been a while since I played that much. But depending on which element you were using, you would switch those around somewhat. But
I think a lot of these items that are really good for a certain skill, like the 10 clip we were just talking about, got buffed. Because I found a 10 clip and I kept it in my stash in case I used a strafe. It increases strafe damage by 95%. I'm pretty sure that's new. Right?
Yeah, it didn't used to increase strafe damage at all. It would just make you able to use the different rune effect at all the times.
Yeah, and then the Dead Man's Legacy, the multi-shot quiver, it increases multi-shot by 75 to 100%, but guaranteed, so you don't have to worry about rolling your quiver over and over and over again for multi-shot.
Yeah, so they did not as the orange effect, so they just have a default blue effect that's even better than what you used to have.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, so obviously power creep was definitely a concern this season, and Blizzard was afraid there wasn't going to be enough of it.
Yeah.
Do you feel they've alleviated that worry? Like you're afraid there might not be enough power creep, and you guys seem like, yeah, pretty much there's enough power creep.
I think there's a lot of power creep.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like it's way up there. I noticed it the first night that the patch hit. I grabbed an old Demon Hunter that had the Marauder set. I mean, not all that well geared to where I could do like Drift 30, but I would proc about every time. And I logged back on that night and just, cleared a 30 easy in like less than 5 minutes, not even close to taking enough damage. So I already had a clue that, well, they definitely buffed the Marauder set. But I think most classes are going to find that you're probably looking at, 10 plus greater rifts maybe from your baseline. It's going to be big.
Oh, speaking of Marauders, that was another thing that got buffed, is the Manticore. The crossbow now increases cluster arrow damage by 60 to 80% and reduces the hatred cost of cluster arrow by 40 to 50%. So
that should pretty well cover the bases.
Yeah, if you run cluster arrow, you're getting a Manticore.
I wonder if that's going to be a Legacy of Nightmares build. I think Strafe is what I've seen posted early, but I wonder if that'll eventually emerge. It'd be fun to do some like non-loaded for bear cluster builds.
Have you seen the Sword of Ill Will yet, or have you looked at that one? It's a chakram or chakram one, and its orange effect is chakram deals 1 to 1.4% increased damage for every point of hatred that you have. So that gives you some incentive to stack hatred, with like Blood Vengeance, and you can use your Paragon points, I guess, if you really want to get a super high hatred.
Lots more options. Good thing we're covering every Demon Hunter thing and no other classes.
Yeah, sorry, that's just the one I've been playing.
That's how, and obviously it's the one Aahz played too. So
is it the Shuriken Cloud that you use, or do you use one of the ones where you actually fire them out?
I don't know. I haven't used it yet. I just found one, and so I put it in my stash in case I wanted to go back to in case I ever want to go back to the Shadow Mantle build.
Nice.
Have you guys done any of the set dungeons yet?
I did the Unhallowed Essence one, and it was kind of annoying, actually. I didn't really enjoy it. I had to take off gear so that I could kill more slowly, and I had to dismiss my follower and get rid of my wolf. I was running with 4 skills instead of 6. I think I took off a passive. I changed my multi-shot element so that it wouldn't be sending out the rockets, because those were... It was a hassle. The big holdback was you have to hit 6 groups of 20 monsters with multi-shot, but they didn't pack it full. Like, you kind of had to kite groups, but it was narrow hallways, and they kept on running into each other and just losing interest in you. Like, kiting monsters in Diablo 3 is not an easy proposition. Eventually I got it, but it took several tries. It doesn't make me excited about trying any of the other ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised how easy they are. I mean, in terms of the monster difference, I mean, it seemed like it's about T3. I did the one with Natalia's the other night before the patch started.
Okay.
And it took me like 3 tries because they kept dying too fast. I mean, the Natalia's, you have to keep a Rain of Vengeance active for 90 seconds, and you have to not run out of hatred. And there's only and I was clearing the whole dungeon in like 2 minutes. So the problem is, it took me like 3 tries before. I think it took me 2 tries, 2 fails, because I had to memorize the layout. Because if you went to any dead end corners, you would run out of time to get your because I had nothing to shoot to refresh my hatred.
Oh, right.
And I'm vaulting all over the place trying to find the last few monsters. And if I had a lot less damage, it would have been much easier, because then I could have done multiple Rain of Vengeance on each pack instead of they were all dying as soon as I even saw them.
Yeah.
But that was like the first game I'd played in a couple of months, and I wasn't even remembering how to do my build. It was like muscle memory. I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? Which buttons? And my fingers are just doing stuff. I'm like, oh, I guess that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not even looking forward. It's just cosmetic rewards, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean just cosmetic rewards?
So I'll get around to it, but it's not exactly high on my list of priorities for the season. It's especially strange. It's almost like they put them in for tutorials, maybe, because I've heard that on some of them, like you said, Flux, it's better to do it when you're not as well geared.
Well, like Wolfpaq just said, he'd take off like half his kit to do the damn. Otherwise, you'd kill him too fast.
Yeah, it was impossible. I had to change the way I was playing, which was kind of annoying.
Well, I wouldn't mind having to change the way you're playing if it was like something, strategic, like here's how this set's supposed to really be optimized or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But having to change it just because they die too quickly, that seems like bullshit. It's like, really?
Yeah, I phrased that wrong. You're right.
Like, take off your rings and now you can do this quest.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, focus and restraint, I took those off.
Wow.
Put on some of that intelligence gear you got lying around, you'd be ready to roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. I mean, it does feel just like kind of a really dumb level tutorial. Like do this, here's what you should be doing with this set, and if you're not doing it right, you shouldn't do it. I actually put together a wiki page when I was not playing Friday night. I put together a wiki page of every set dungeon and where the entrances are and what the requirements are for all of them. So I'll link that if I remember. It's diablowiki.net/set dungeons. It just has all of that listed. But I mean, a lot of them, the requirements are just pretty much what you're supposed to do. It's kind of like a seasonal journey with a slightly different bonus thing, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely be using that page when I get around to wanting to do all those. I'll probably wait till I have all the sets.
Yeah, because they
just
put
do
them all
one
over.
after another. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool, the green portal and all, and you can do it, multiple times in the same game once you find it. It's not like you have to do a new game each time. It just resets once you leave it or fail it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like everything in the game, it would be kind of fun if you didn't know anything about it, and you find it, and you get this lore book, and it's got like a clue where you're supposed to find it, and you have to try to figure out what it means. But of course, people have just written all the, like some asshole updated a wiki page and has all the locations right there. Oh, that was me. But it's easy to find this stuff otherwise, right? So.
Yeah, I got the Act 1 bounty leveling, so I stumbled on where the location was. Just go right at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, it just jumps out at you there. But I thought there'd be more of a challenge when they were talking about what these set dungeons were going to be on the PTR, and it would be like you have to really be good. I was thinking that it would be like an expert check, like you have to be really, really good at using this set, and then you can maybe get this if you have a good break. Like it was going to be like pushing a greater rift or something like that in terms of difficulty. But instead they're just really easy, and if you play it all the way you're supposed to with this set and don't have too much damage, you'll pass it.
Well, as long as you do whatever gimmick it is.
Yeah.
I tried to do the monk one too, using my last season monk, and it was you needed to explode with exploding palm 25 monsters at a time. And you go in, and there are all these Act 1 skeletons that move extremely slowly. Oh, and you can't get hit by fire damage ever. And they throw randomly one of the skeletons will be doing fire damage. And you're just like, what is this? And of course, none of them are in groups of 25, so you need to somehow figure out a way to bring them all together and then put exploding palm on all of them. And then, I don't know. There were some concerns being expressed in my clan chat about that dungeon. So I know I wasn't the only one being annoyed by it.
Yeah, they are kind of annoying. They're kind of trivial almost.
Yeah.
And then, as Aahz said earlier, blaspheming the Holy Writ, you just get an appearance bonus for it.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Speaking of appearance bonuses, did you guys look at that the whole Wings of Mercy thing? The Merch Wings. I mean, the Wings of Mercy. I can never say that without thinking what it actually should be.
No.
Which is if you bought Overwatch, you would get these special wings once Overwatch comes out. But then Blizzard was like, we're just going to give them to everybody who has the Xbox and the PS4 version because otherwise it doesn't work right. People are all like pissed off. Like, how dare they get this for free when I paid $60 over Overwatch to get these stupid wings?
See, it seems like a fair trade-off considering that console doesn't get seasons. I don't think PC should be upset about that when you're getting seasons and they get some cosmetic wings. That to me, that's an easy decision on which one's better. But admittedly, I am thinking about pre-purchasing Overwatch. I don't know if there's a way I can send a note saying I only did this so I could give you more money for Diablo because that's all I play.
You just want the wings.
I just want a Diablo-related thing. I'm that far gone.
It's amazing they're not charging us for the stuff directly, Like, people want stash for cash. People want to pay for appearance buffs. It's like, no, you have to buy some other game and get it like this indirect roundabout thing.
Yeah.
It's like drug money, like laundering drug money or something,
Well, it's part of their whole, BattleNet, link everything together. If you buy Diablo, you get Diablo and Heroes of the Storm, and the cross
promotion.
Promotion. There you go. Yeah.
So either of you guys don't sound like you're really charged up for the new, appearance buffs and the new color of wings, etc.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be interested in long enough to do all of the set dungeons.
I'm kind of like you, Flux. When someone has their wings on, I want to target them when they come around a corner. Like it definitely distracts me. I think, there's an enemy.
Monster, yeah.
Oh no, wait, it's not. It's just my friend, but he's got really weird wings on.
I think that's why they wanted to have them. They want to feel special and be more visible. Don't you want to feel special, Aahz?
I do.
Don't you want to glow like a pretty little flower?
Don't make me feel special enough.
Well, maybe next time.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There are people on the podcast sometimes, and obviously lots of fans who are really into this cosmetic stuff and will be, overjoyed to buy other games just to get some different color of glowing wings and stuff. And I just don't care. I find them annoying. But
I've transmogrified things twice, once in Season 4 and once in Season 5, only because my season journey required me to do it. So yeah, the cosmetic stuff just does not appeal to me.
You're such a boy.
Yeah.
Just want to play dressed up Barbie and be pretty?
Maybe tomorrow.
No, that's a lie. You're not going to do it tomorrow either. So what are you guys planning for the rest of the season? Are you going to be? Do you have like a goal when you get to P500 when you can quit, or are you just going to just play when you have a chance? I mean, you're damn near P500 already there, Wolfpaq.
I think I'm going to keep playing it as long as it's fun, and right now it's tremendously fun. I like all the new stuff and all the changes. I'm probably going to make another character, and it's probably going to be the Crusader because I want to see how I want to play with the Thorns build. It sounds really cool, and by all reports, it's really fun and powerful. So, I'll probably get my Crusader. I'll probably figure out how Rebirth works properly since there won't be any rush to get it done. So I'll take my time, and I won't have the season journey advantage. So maybe I'll find a Crusader who'll be willing to loot share with me and get that set lined up ahead of time.
And the Invoker set is certainly, you mentioned earlier it was fun playing the Demon Hunter, the new set, because it's a different play style.
Yeah.
I mean, Invoker set is like, I'm looking at the set dungeon requirement, get hit by 100 spears thrown by Blood Clan and Moon Clan enemies. It's like, that's an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
Not something any other class is going to be doing on purpose,
Yeah, and apparently, like, a lot of your damage is based on your thorns and not your weapon damage, which is even more drastic than the Demon Hunter change.
Yeah, there's that one new legendary gem that's just for thorns.
Yeah, it's just for thorns. But I mean, so to do their damage, they have thorns and just stack more thorns.
And Consecrate and Iron Skin and other stuff, it like multiplies it in weird ways. And I haven't even looked into the build that much, but obviously it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean there is the Consecrate rune that deals your thorns damage to every enemy in it, which sounds pretty cool. Or deals your thorns, just the amount of thorns you have. So yeah, it should be interesting to try out.
Do you have any other long-term plans, Aahz?
Long term, no. It's for season 5. I just, I set my seasonal goals just to get to Paragon 750, which is where my account was previous to the season, and do a greater 60 solo, which I've never done. I did a 56 last season, but it seems like that's going to be pretty low. I think hopefully I'll be able to do the 60 no problem.
Oh yeah, you will.
What have you done up to already this season, Wolfpaq?
I've done 50, but it was easy.
And you're like not even, you have no ancient gear on and nothing,
yeah,
right?
No, I'm not optimized, or it's like my gems are level 10, or I was leveling up my gems today, and so I just did a bunch of 50s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a 100% chance of upgrade there when you're doing a GR50 and a level 10 gym.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the math on that. You said you were bad at math, Aahz. Can you figure that one out for me? If you're 40 levels above your gym, is that 100%?
I think they doubled it.
I think Jay Wilson took care of that problem for you. Speaking of Jay Wilson and other former developers, we talked about this on the podcast last week, but neither of you guys were there. I wonder if you had any thoughts about the whole Dave Brevik thought about returning to Blizzard, Blizzard and making a new Blizzard North and stuff. Do you think he would be the ultimate cure for Diablo 3 and make Diablo 4 wonderful, or are the current guys good enough at what they're doing, or what?
Well, I agree with your comment about how, whenever you rise up in an organization, it necessarily means you're not going to be doing a lot of day-to-day detail stuff. And so, like I think you said, it's the third time he said it, and I feel for him, but typically that's the trade-off you make. You get compensated more. You don't get to do as much of the stuff that you really built your career on. No, I think the guys that are doing it right now are doing great. I look forward to every patch, every new season, and again, these quality of life builds they added in are really nice. So they're knocking it out of the park right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any Dave Brevik thoughts there, Wolfpaq?
No, I agree with that.
Do you remember what Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 at this point?
I do, and yeah, maybe he could help get the expansion done so we could finally play a new class. I'm really excited about playing Necromancer / Druid / whatever it is they end up coming up with.
Do you still expect another expansion? I mean, we were all thinking BlizzCon last year, and obviously nothing happened. Some of the other podcast guests have said, well, there's so much else going on with Blizzard right now, where they have all these other expansions and Overwatch. They just they're putting it off until they have more of a lax period.
I hope so. I don't. I mean, I guess they could have canceled it, but I mean, there's clearly a team working on this game still, so that's capable of producing more content. So hopefully, they're able to also produce some expansion content too. But yeah, I guess it remains to be seen.
At this point, I'm expecting D4, not another expansion. I think they'll go with a new game engine. I don't have anything to base that on specifically, but with the performance issues that have crept up, I suspect they're just going to say it's better to start over and get an updated, graphics and number cruncher than it is to put another expansion out.
Yeah, that was discussion in past podcasts, and people who are tech experts were talking about, obviously they've been working on this engine since 2007, or earlier.
Yeah.
And here we are, 10 years later, and how many more effects and things being calculated are there now versus when Diablo 3 launched?
Yeah.
Just the amount of auras you can have and all the legendary gems and all the effects. I mean, you can just see there's just literally magnitudes higher of calculations running at all times.
But we don't have charms.
Yeah, well, there you go. No +7 strength objects in your second inventory.
That's right.
But you can easily see why the game has performance issues in terms of it's just doing so much more than it was ever made to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the early days you were running all yellows. That was your best kit.
And you had no legendary powers, you had no legendary gems, you didn't have any of these buffs and upgrades, and now there's just, they had to redo the entire UI to get more space for constant buffs,
Yeah.
Used to be you have one buff at every 10 minutes. Ooh, I got a buff. Oh, now it's gone. And now you just have, 8 of them when you just put your shit on standing in town.
Even with the constant Nephilim Valor, you still had room for all your buffs.
And that does make the argument of why aren't they just making a new game with a new engine? Instead of tacking on even more stuff in this same tired, overwhelmed game engine, Maybe they're all secretly working on Diablo 4, and they're, halfway through already or something. As opposed to, waiting for another Diablo 3 expansion. Even though they said many times before the launch that it was a waste for the previous game to only have one expansion.
Yeah.
So.
But it's just clearly being run by different people now, so.
You don't think Jay Wilson's still there, hiding in the back, pulling the strings?
I don't think so.
His Wyatt Chang mask is crookedly affixed. Yeah. Okay, any final thoughts, guys? You both sound pretty pleased with the season, and you're planning on playing more. Are you going to be playing in the next 5 minutes as soon as I hang up on this phone call?
I got to at least run one rift with the 6p6. I haven't done that yet, so I want to see how much damage 40,000% is.
Lots.
I got to be honest. I may have been playing during this call.
Well, everyone else does that too. So
I don't.
Well, you're not hardcore, so why not?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm not good enough of a hardcore player to also talk while I play. So, for whatever that's worth. If I seem distracted, it's only because I was, distracted by other things, not actually gaming.
Chinchillas.
It's
a chinchilla climbing up your pants leg right now.
It's a great resource to be able to, because I can't keep track of all the names of the items and the values and stuff like that. Like off the top of my head, like I couldn't tell you that 10 Clip's new strafe damage boost is 60 to 80%.
But you've got one right in your hot little hands.
Yeah, I've got one sitting in my extra stash space.
There you go.
Or
so
75 to 100. See, I already forgot.
There you go. You got to check it. Okay, so any final thoughts? You're playing and you're happy with the season so far? You could it have anything been differently, or it was a little bit of tech problems at the start, but after that it's all been good?
Yeah,
Change the Orc's crown drop to Smart Loot all the time.
But then the RNG would be gone.
I know.
What do we say about RNG in Diablo 3?
It wouldn't be a Diablo game.
You can't get screwed by RNG. It's not a Diablo game.
Exactly.
And Wolfpaq's like, I'm in a grift, guys. I can't talk right now.
Just stay away from earthquake barbs.
Oh, no. Cruel slander. Stay away from all barbs. They're smelly and stuff. Okay, guys, thanks for your time. You've been listening to the Diablo 3 podcast. We are online at diabloii.net. And have you done the secret Moo level yet? You know what they do in the secret Moo level? They...
Moo.